These three things here, like building, pulling, and pushing image, are very critical part. So when you say the Docker build, so Docker build command, this command used to build a Docker image from a specified Docker file. And you said that, okay, what it does actually, this command builds a Docker image with the tag that we put. We'll go through that one. Then Docker pull. This command is used to pull a Docker image from a um, container registry. When you're talking about container registry, it can be like, Docker Hub, or that can be like private registry, or to our local machine. Next, okay, if we don't define the version, then always this command pulls the latest version of image for the respective container image from the Docker registry to local machine. And the last command here is that, okay, there is another command like docker push. So this command helps uh, to push a Docker image from local machine to the container registry. So now first go through with the Docker build. So let's connect to, okay, before that, let's create an account for Docker Hub or Docker registry. So for that, what we have to do, if you go to like search for Docker Hub, so because I'm already connected, let me open a private window and go to Docker Hub here. So if we go there, then you will see that to create an account, here you can see that sign up. So click on sign up and pass all the email, username, password, um, then account will be created. If you look here how that one, so if you look my account here, so here I have connected my Docker account. So you can create a repository, and there is one, you can use one private repository as a free, but public repository you can create as many as you want. So after creating that account, let's go through to create a Docker file. So for that, let me connect to party session, and what we'll do, we'll build a Docker file. For that, first we are going to let me say the directory. So here we'll create a directory, like I can put dummy doc file. Go to that directory. Mm, ready to now. Here we have to create a file called Docker file. Let me copy so that I don't need to type again. Here you see that I am just creating a Docker file and put entry all those, like here if you see here, you will see that from tells the source of the image, like it will take the image, Ubuntu image, so it will go to the repository and it will pick the latest image. And run is giving the command that it will execute. So it will execute like apt get update and apt get install. So here press enter. So now you will see that file is created, that Docker file. and that entry is there. Now I can build that image. So to build the image is docker build, give a tag, and I'm giving this file name. I can just put this one um, or doc1 and current directory. So we can see successfully built. So if we type docker images, so you can see this is the one that I have created. And if I would like to give a name, we can give a name like for me, I would like to give a name like this one, because my user ID is this one slash that name. So oh, for that docker tag, I'm going to keep that Banglamon. I think this is my user ID slash. So here the you saw that first one that we have created a Docker file and then use Docker build to build the image. Next, I'm going to pull the image. So to pull the image, what we can do, let's check, is there image from the Docker app. So for that, what we have to do, Docker search, and for example, Fedora. We are searching for Fedora. So there are many of them. So, but I'm going to pull the image now from Docker. If I say that like a Docker repository or Docker hub, from there to my local machine. So for that, Docker pull and the image. Let me push a little bit this side, which is Fedora. So I'm pulling the image. So now if I type Docker images, you will see that Fedora image is currently in my local machine. Now, if you'd like to check, that image or display the detailed information, so there is inspect command like Docker inspect, give the image name. So from here, you can get, like with virtual disk or image details information by going through that one. You can get the details from here. Now, if I would like to run, like I have pulled the image, I can uh, run that on image, but I'm showing you initially those three options. So pull, there is another one that push. So I have created the image that Docker images. What I'm going to do, I'm going to push the image that I have created, which is this one. So let's type Docker push this. So now, if you go to my account here, you will see that there is no like the image that I'm going to push. That's no like Banglamon dummy doc on. It's not there. So I'm going to push that image. So here I have already logged in. That for otherwise you have to Docker login with your user ID and password. Then you can push that to your um, Docker repository. So you see that it has been completed. So now if I go back to Docker registry, so here Docker Hub. So now refresh my page and you can see this image is just few seconds ago. It's loaded here. So you can see that image here. Now if I would like to delete the image, what I have to do? Just click that image and then under settings, there is an option like you can make it private, you can delete. So this is the test one, so I can delete that one. So click on delete repository. So now it's asking, that please type the name of your repository to confirm deletion. Type this one. So do that one. So it's delete. If I refresh, we can see it's not there. It's deleting. It will take little time. So you can see that's deleting. Let's refresh the page again. So it may take little time. Just this is the way that we can delete Docker image. We refresh that one and image has been deleted. So you can see image is no longer there. Now let's go through with the Docker volume. So if you look this Docker documents, so here you see that what is Docker volume. So let's go through the Docker volume. It's a like if you look here, it's a area like here. You see the Docker volumes reside within a Docker area of the host file system that can be easily shared among different containers. So there are different types of volumes. First, anonymous volumes. If when we say anonymous volumes, I'm just giving you a summary. You can go through the document. So when we don't specify the volume name, then Docker takes care, or takes care system generated name, which is like anonymous volume. Then it can be like named volume, like we are when we are creating a volume, we give a specific name based on our options. So it can get some specific name, which is our named volume. Other things, if we talk about that bind mounts here, you see that bind mount. So this is where a file or directory from like our host machine is directly connected to the container. If the file or directory does not exist on the hoster, then Docker will create that one. When you define the path based on that, it will create that one. This is good, sometimes if you'd like to use like local files within our Docker container for some testing purpose. Other thing here is that temporary file system or TMPFS. So this totally, it's a temporary and it's solely exist in the host memory. When we like stops container, this type of mount is automatically removed. This is beneficial like when we're dealing with sensitive data test and we don't prefer like or we prefer not to store anything this host level, then we can use this one. So now let's go through with lab for better understanding. So let's connect to the partition, clear my screen. First, you can see the option like what options there for volume command. So Docker volume help. So it will give you the option, what options there. So first we are going to create a volume. So to create a volume is create command there. So Docker volume create. We can give a name, volume name. So name. We give a name like ball03. So volume is created that one. Now if we create docker volume create, we don't give name. So it is giving system generated name. You can see that one. And last time we give a name, so it has got the name. To see the list of volumes, we can do docker volume list. So we can get the volume name also, like you can see which volumes are there as well. So here you can see that volume name. Now let's that initiate a container using this volume. So what we can do for that one? So Docker, we are just running a container, run interactive mode, and we are giving volume. Volume we are going to use that. This is the volume that I created, and um, Docker volume, run this one, give a volume path up, and we are going to give a name, ball engine X, then giving the container like image name to run as a container, nginx, and into shell prompt in bash. So it's getting the image latest. You will see that one because we didn't define a specific one, and it's get into container level. So now if we see df minus h, we can see that volume there. Now so far it's nothing there, and I'm to the container level. So let's create a file here. So touch mmtst one.txt. So you can see that we have created a file here. Now, um, uh, let me open another session, duplicate session to show you what is happening. Do a change color, change settings, colors, modify into, okay. So if I see docker ps minus a, you can see this is running. Now we want to just exit from this session, but we want container to still running. So for that, what we have to do, Control P and Q. So it will exit from the container. So if you do that one, you can see still that container is running. So now what we will do, Docker manages volumes independently from the storage drive system. So this allows, like, what how that works. So let's, if we'd like to inspect the volume, there is an inspect command. I can go back. See, or I can write that help command. You see that there is inspect command to get the information about that volume, like what that volume display, like detailed information, one or more volumes. So let's execute docker inspect and docker volume inspect and volume name. So my volume name is this one. So you can Docker typo. So you can see the mount point here. So what we can do, we'll just go to that mount point and do some, we'll create a file there. So cd to there. And if you look here, we can see the file that we created. Now, if we'd like to create the file, there, that we can also do. So touch, just give a different one, mmtest2.txt. So you can see that there are two files now. So we can create a file. Now, if we go back to shell prompt, which is uh, you can do either execute or attach. So let me docker execute interactive mode, and that the container it is running. So, I put the container name is here. From here you can see this is the container name. I want it to be in bash. So it container mode. So we have done now. If we go to that from container level, if we type, we can see that file there. Now to delete the volume, what we have to do by default, one thing to be noted, we cannot assign a volume to a running container. To assign volume to a container, we need to stop, and only then we can assign a volume. So now we can exit from here, otherwise we can stop from here. So if we type docker stop, let me docker stop container ID. So if we stop that one, the container has been stopped. But if you'd like to see the volume is still there, so docker volume ls. So you can see volume is still there. And that also because we stop the container here, you can see that it exit from that container session. And if we see the files also is still there. Now what we'll do, we will use volumes to recording logs. For that, let's create a different volume. So volume, create a different volume, docker volume create, give a name. This time we're giving Nginx because we're going to work on Nginx. Yeah, and Nginx log. So if we docker volume ls, we can see that we create a and Nginx logs. Okay, before also we created. So what we can do, we can just use this latest one, which is Nginx logs. So this one, not S. And we are going to create cd ls. So let me create one directory for this one. So directory um, test html cd to test html. Now inside that folder, inside this test html folder, we are going to create a file. So just copy here. So we have created a file. So if we check that, you can see you just put that hello web application. So we just add that one. Now we are going to execute a command using the volume, and also with Nginx Mx. At the same time, we'd like to uh, put the log to this Nginx log path. So let me copy the command and allocating the port also. So here is the Docker container. We are running a container, and port will be port forwarding. You see that 8080 to 80, and name is so it will be 8080, 80 port default one, and Nginx server we are just give a name, and we define the okay. I need to change this one. So that is I put in my case that test HTML this time. So test HTML, and then we give that this is the volume name, and this is the image. So we can straight go to Nginx image from the container, let it run. So you can see that it's running. So let me check that one. So Docker container. So you can see that Nginx server is running, and port is forwarding here. You can see the port forward. So what we can do first, let's check that one with call command, that we can see the contents of that index file that we add there. So for that, let me try, and we can see that hello web application. So what we can do now, get the host URL, which is 4419317, this one. So if I go http, we can see that hello web application. So we can access that one. Now if we would like to go to terminal access, so what we can do, we can just put into bash mode. So Docker container execute interactive, and that name, we can use name or ID. More open there too, we can use that one, and to bash. So ns, so my file I put into, let me go to the directory, and this time let's modify with okay, vi the right directory. pwd. Oh no, sorry, I missed cd2. I put that here. That HTML is going to this path into container. So go to that path because I'm in container level now. Now here from the container, I am going to change something. So him. So this is not working. So what I can do, I can straight just cat command into that directory. So we have changed that on. It should get this time recording logs. So if I go to window here, and you can see that recording. So for that, let me get